Hello, 8th grade, and good morning. Welcome to week 8 of quarantine. Well, we've been talking about it all year, and I told you that everything we learned about would lead us here. And we've made it to the introduction of the causes of the Civil War. We're going to start with a bit of a review this week. Before we left school in March, we talked about the Missouri Compromise and the Kansas-Nebraska Act. If you remember, the North was made up of free states and the South of slave states, and the number of states matched perfectly. Then, every time a state joined the Union, everyone started freaking out. What will they be, a free state or a slave state? The Missouri Compromise split the country on a line of latitude, allowing Missouri to join the Union as a slave state and Maine to enter as a free state so that they would remain balanced. The Kansas-Nebraska Act that we talked about came a little later, and it made things even more dicey. This dealt with the territories and whether the population of that territory voted to enter the Union as free or slave. So, abolitionists and slavers alike moved to the territories to ensure that when the vote came around, their beliefs would come out on top. Obviously, this did not end pretty, with people literally killing each other in the streets in what was known as Bloody Kansas. The reason this was so important was that the country was trying to determine which opinion was more important, state governments or federal governments. We even see this today on the news in terms of COVID-19. Think about it. What do you believe is more important? What the federal government tells you to do or what the state government tells you to do? It's a hard question, and it should be. Should we unify and all do the same thing, giving the legislative and executive branches the choice of what's best for this country? Or should each state make their own decision based on exactly what they need? This was the same controversy that was happening during the Civil War. The South believed that they needed their slaves to ensure the agricultural economy of the country, and they believed that it was their individual right to make that decision. The North thought otherwise, and such new political parties formed and others went completely away. Most people by this point could see that the Civil War was on its way, but one really controversial Supreme Court case stirred the pot. So, you will be learning about the Dred Scott decision this week. Widely considered one of the worst decisions of all of Supreme Court history, and I can't wait to see what you think about it. Let's take a look at my computer to see what you'll be doing. All right, guys, I'm in the week 8 folder, Intro to the Causes of the Civil War. Just like every week, I've given you 4 things in the folder. This is going to start looking really familiar. The first one is my YouTube link, the one you're watching right now. The next is your week 8 assignment document. The following one is any links you might need to complete the document. And then lastly is where you will turn this assignment in on Monday by noon or earlier, obviously, if you get it all done. I've started, just like I did a couple weeks ago, breaking it down by day. You do not have to do it 20 minutes a day. You can do it all at once. The first thing you have here is vocabulary. Just like the last time, you can either draw a picture or come up with some clip art to paste in there. And then I want you to make some predictions about the Civil War and what caused it based on what you know. The next day, you're going to be doing some comparisons between the North and the South to refresh our brains on sectionalism and regionalism. You'll pick out 3 major differences down here and then make an opinion statement for me. Following that, we're going to review the Missouri Compromise and the Kansas-Nebraska Act. This link reviews both of them pretty briefly, and then these are individual videos from the History Channel that are more in-depth. Again, at the bottom, you're asked to do something to summarize your day's work. And then day 4 and 5 are new information, so stuff we have not seen yet, and that includes the Dred Scott decision. So I gave you a little bit of a long article on it that's directly out of our curriculum, but then also a YouTube video that explains this with pictures. And I really like this one. I think it does a nice job explaining what's going on, and I created some fill in the blanks. These do go in order in the video, so you should be able to pull up the captions, and it's almost word for word what the statements are. So that shouldn't be too difficult, but it's a good note-taking strategy. Once you're done all of that, you can send it to me either right here or via email. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or one of your classmates. Well, bye guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. Don't forget, you can always email me with questions, and I'll be back next week with more enthralling information about the Civil War. And as always, have a fantabulous day.